Pale. Pale. Haha. What's up, buddy?
Really, nothing much.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right.
What's up with you?
Not a whole lot. Hey, so I just found this article right before you said you were ready to start.
Uh huh.
Do you remember Knights of the Zodiac?
It does ring a bell.
So it was an anime. Um, I want to say it was an Americanized version of it, but anyways, um, I was gonna pull up the more info because I literally just opened this article right before you said ready. Um, but it's basically these like a group of I want to say it was like four dudes and a girl, and they got the power of the gods, and it was like this armor they wore. It was very Power Rangey, but like they were like their powers were based on like
Yes.
Zeus and all those guys or whatever.
I'm looking at images now and they do look familiar. I don't know if I've ever watched it, but they do look familiar.
There was another name for it too. Uh, Saint Seiya was the uh was the other name for it, but yeah. Anyways, so Sony is doing a live action version of it. I thought it was one of those like, hey, let's make a live action version of this, and it's gonna be like crazy Japanese like uh live action movies like they do all the time. Um, and this one is right there. It's right on the edge. Uh, but it has like noticeable actors in it. Like Sean Bean is in it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and like from Meek Jensen, I think I saw in the trailer too.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So when I searched for it on Google, like, it didn't list a whole lot of the cast. And you said there's famous people in it. I'm looking at, like, the first four people that it lists, and I'm like, well, I don't know who any of these people are. Expanded out, yeah, okay, Sean Bean, Meek Jansen, Nick Stahl. Let's see.
Mark Dacakos, I don't know how to say his name, but that's the dude from the Crow TV show, as well as the guy from the newer version of Iron Chef. He's also in like John Wick 3 and stuff, but
And I think I've seen some of these other people in things. I just don't recognize the names.
yeah. So I was like, oh shit, and the trailer is pretty cool. Like uh, it mixed modern day with them, so like they're like like the. So if you remember the show, well, never seen the show, but if you see the show, there's like it's definitely set in a time period where it's kind of like pseudo futuristic in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So similar to that, but this one is set like modern day. There's like guns and there's like explosives and like all these different things, but like they're wearing the suits of armor, and the armor is animated, so like it moves. So like at one point they get ready for battle, and a face guard comes up and things like that. But I was like, dang, this might be terrible, but I kind of want to watch it.
Right.
But I
I've
was
seen
gonna
these
send the
things
trailer
from
over.
Jumanji 2, Annabelle Comes Home. I've seen all those.
Yeah, there's the people in it have been in things out there that we've all seen, and obviously some of the names jump out right away because we know who Sean Bean and Mick Jensen is, and Mark whatever his last name is, as well as Nick Stahl. Uh, and I was like, oh, wait, what? How is this working out?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that definitely puts it on my radar to watch. See
Yeah,
how
so
John Bean dies.
yeah, right. So I was like, oh, I really want to see what this is.
Hmm.
Trying to see. Oh, does it actually?
So is it a
Man,
movie that's coming out, or is it a Netflix thing?
it's a movie coming out, but I don't see a release. Oh, May 12th in the United States. Doesn't say where though, or how. Like if it's theaters or if it's on a
So like it's
platform.
relatively close
Yeah.
to coming out. That's interesting. It's weird to, especially if it's coming to theaters, that it is an anime, live action anime that they're putting in theaters. I mean, it's
Yeah.
cool, but it's not really an anime that. And I guess I'm like I said, I haven't watched it, but at least I think I've seen it. Uh, so it might be a hugely popular anime, and it makes sense to put it in theaters. But it is one of those things that I just don't see. Uh,
Flourishing.
yeah, I guess is kind of what I was getting at. Like it would make sense in a Japanese theater, put them out there because it's a much bigger thing over there. But over here, it's not as big of a thing, so you'd put it on like Netflix or something like that.
Yep.
As what they have done, with Death Note and Cowboy Bebop and all that stuff.
Yep. Yeah, it's weird because like it's Sony, but there was Stage 6 was one of the producers, and there was a Japanese company in there too. So I was like, oh, this is why it's getting a Japanese release as well. It's not just an American version of it.
Well, hopefully, it's good.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be pretty dope. So yeah, I'll keep an eye and see if I can find out if it's theater based, which I doubt highly. And if it is, it's gonna be like the broom closet of like 4 theaters.
Yeah, right. I could definitely see that happening.
But if it hits like Amazon Prime
Harkins
Video or
or
yeah, if it's one of those like if it was one of those ones, it could be like the those, what does Harkins call them, Indian art house or whatever they do,
yeah.
or at least those weird one-offs.
Cool.
But I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know if you were if you had ever watched that show before, because I know it was on a couple different channels. I think Cartoon Network had it, and a couple
And that's
other
the big
ones.
question of what he was on and when. Because most of my anime that I watched was Cartoon Network's Toonami.
Yeah.
Although, for some reason, I want to say it was WGN on the weekends ran Dragon Ball Z.
That's probably.
Because I remember watching, like, for some reason, it was a weird, like, hour or two of shows where they had, like, Dragon Ball Z and then dinosaurs.
Wait, the show with the puppets?
Yeah,
It's a weird follow up.
it was. I loved both. I mean, I shouldn't say I love Dragon Ball Z. I enjoyed it enough to watch it. But I love dinosaurs. That show was awesome.
Great. Not the mama.
Not the mama.
Did you ever like? So obviously, this is a weird tangent going about dinosaurs. So dinosaurs, obviously, for people who don't know, is a show created by the Jim Henson Company, or it was a sitcom set in like a dinosaur world. Like
65 million years ago, but it was like any sitcom family show.
yeah, it had a mom, a dad, an older son, a middle daughter, a baby that's way younger than all of them, a grandmother. And like it was like it was kind of like Flintstones in a way. Like,
Right.
He worked a job he didn't really like and whatever, right? And there's all these different things that come up, but it had like real things happening in it. Like it was a very weird way of doing it, but that was like kind of the thing where that was the kind of era where like people were trying to find different ways of doing the same thing without doing the same thing. But it didn't dawn on me until many years later because I didn't ever know this.
They were puppets.
Well, wait, they're puppets.
Yeah, they
So
were puppets.
the family's last name is Sinclair, and they're dinosaurs.
Yep.
There's a
I know
gas
all this.
company called Sinclair's, and their mascot is a dinosaur.
Yep.
And it's well known that like dinosaurs, obviously, like millions of years ago, have degraded down into like the materials we use for gasoline. I thought that was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dang, I need to look back and see if he worked at like a gas plant or something. But I don't think he did. I think it was construction or something.
Where did he work?
I remember he had a hard hat, so
Yeah, I don't fully remember.
So I don't know if like someone I never looked into seeing like how long ago Sinclair's gas existed, but if like it came out in like the mid '90s, I'd be like, wait, what?
Oh, I'm pretty sure Sinclair Gas has been at least the '80s. So I'm pretty sure it was like it was a nod or just like a Easter egg type thing.
Like, wouldn't it be like a wild coincidence? Like, there's just no way, right?
I mean, there's a It's one of those like there's a possibility. It's just a low probability
Yeah,
of it happening as a complete coincidence. I mean, sometimes that's how we end up with like multiple movies in the same year that have the same similar idea, with them. But
yeah. Something gets tossed around in the zeitgeist, and Hollywood just starts running
yeah,
with
and
it.
somehow that's how you end up with two, asteroid movies in 1 year.
One decent one and one not so decent one.
Right.
So some DC news coming out, Joe.
Uh
James Gunn has officially announced that he will be directing Superman Legacy,
oh. Okay.
as everyone suspected that he would, since he was so talking about it so much and obviously writing the script for it and things like that. Well, not obviously writing the script, but we found out he was writing the script for it. So he has officially announced. He says, "Yes, I'm directing Superman Legacy to be released on July 11th, 2025." My brother Matt told me when he was saw the release date, he stated he started to cry. I asked him why. He said, "Dude, that's Dad's birthday. I hadn't realized." So, folks who don't know, Joe may not know this. James Gunn lost his father about 3 years ago, and his father was one of his best friends, as he stated. But also, his father and him never really connected when he was a child, so it was like always kind of like a standoffish, not a standoffish stage, but never really like a close relationship when he was younger. But he supported his son in all his likings, his reading comic books and things like that, and he credits his father with being where he is today with his career because he never stopped letting him like pursue his dreams and never like say, oh, you need to get a real job or whatever. He was always supportive of what he wanted to do. So it's a very big thing, and I guess a bunch of years ago he got offered a chance to make a Superman movie, and he turned it down because he said he never could find a link to the story. He likes to have like some kind of um, emotional attachment.
Link.
Yeah, like personal attachment. Like with Guardians, for example, he comes from the world of misfits and a group of people who come together to do one thing in the movie making business, especially where he started with Troma. And so he gravitated a lot towards the Guardians because of the misfit nature that they are. And so with the passing of his father, he now has he feels that he has a connection to a story within the Superman world. So that's pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah.
And then the other piece of DC news that I have is a rumor started. Well, sorry, not a rumor. It is a rumor now because it's been debunked by James Gunn. But basically, a story came out originally from CBR, so Comic Book Resource, saying that Robert Pattinson might not appear as Batman in the Penguin series, but he can appear as Bruce Wayne or the Drifter. For the people who don't know what the Drifter is his slightly different alter ego where he basically goes common man. Usually wears shittier clothes and runs around with hair messed up and blah blah blah. You kind of see that in the
looking guy.
Yeah, you kind of see that in the Batman that came out last year from Matt Reeves, where he was disheveled and his clothes were he wasn't wearing a 5-piece suit and driving a expensive car. He was just riding around on his motorcycle and had his hair all shaggy and things like that. So that news came out. And it said, the quote said, the TV rights for Batman are caught up in a legal limbo involving Fox, Disney, and a trio of mergers. And James Gunn comes out and says that is not true. He states that he can't confirm or deny that Pattinson will show up in the Penguin show. But we did say is that it is not true that he can't be Batman because of the legal stuff. So they can do what they want to with that. And so he could appear as Batman in the Penguin series. He's just not confirming it because it's not his project to divulge on, but he is involved, obviously, in the legal half of where characters can and cannot be used. And he states that someone then clarified, isn't it true the rights, or that Rob will appear in the Batman series? Is the rights is not true. The rights issue is not true. So he's stating that he's letting people know that that story or rumor or whatever is not true. He could show up. He's just not confirming that he will show up. But he could.
Well, when does it take place? I don't actually remember. When is the Penguin series supposed to take place within the story?
We don't know yet. Early rumors were it's the origin of it, but then later on, after the movie came out, it was said that it was supposed to be a transitional series. So it follows the Penguin following the events of the Batman. So him rising to power, where if you remember from the movie, he is more of a lackey in that one. And now that the obviously the events, spoiler I guess for a movie that's over a year old now, the Penguin now has opportunity to seize power within the crime family because of the death that happens in the movie. Falcone gets murdered.
Yeah.
And so he now there'll be a power vacuum of people trying to take over, but the Penguin is kind of in already with the group. You can see that because he's doing the dealings in the movie and things like that. So he would be the likely successor, and it's probably him making his way up. So the story could be more of a crime, not a true crime. That'd be weird. More of a on the streets cop and robber type story versus a Batman centric story. But it'll be basically about, I would guess, and again I haven't looked up to see if there's any more news about it, but it'll be the rise of Penguin to being the crime lord that we all know him from the comic books.
Which is kind of interesting because that is still kind of an origin story.
Yeah.
And
maybe we'll get some more info about the scarness of his face, and things like that. So, but
I do like the idea that they actually shouldn't bring him in, Pattinson in, for that show.
I agree.
I would like the idea of like they skirt around it, like they just say like he's making a deal of something and something went wrong, and maybe the Batman showed up, but he doesn't really actually, you don't really actually ever see him. I think that'd be a cool idea, and have it because I think I'm spacing on his name that played the Penguin.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell was fantastic. So just to have him just chewing up scenery as the Penguin would be fantastic. I'm trying to remember, who did they have play? Did they have a Commissioner Gordon in?
Yeah, it was Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright.
He wasn't commissioner at that time though. He was still a detective.
Right.
So I just looked up. This is the premise listing on both IMDb and Wikipedia.
Okay.
I nailed it. Taking place 1 week following the events of the Batman, the series explores the rise to power of Oswald Oz Cobblepot / Penguin in Gotham City's criminal underworld. So it says here, Colin Farrell as Oswald Oz Cobblepot Penguin. I'm just going to say that as Penguin. Disfigured crime lord and former chief lieutenant of the late crime boss Carmine Falcone, I can't talk apparently, who is on the rise, becoming a criminal kingpin in his own right. Farrell said the series would further explore the character's awkwardness and his strength and his villainy, as well as heartbroken man inside there beyond his introduction in the Batman. And then Kristen Melody, I don't know how to say her last name, has been cast as Sophia Falcone, a daughter of Carmine Falcone, who fights Cobblepot for control of Gotham City after her father's death. And then my favorite casting, which I saw last week and I forgot to talk about it, is actually Clancy Brown.
Okay.
Who Joe should know that name.
No, I don't.
That's the voice of Sam Fisher.
Oh, that's the new voice of Sam Fisher.
Yep. Well, no, the original
voice. Yeah, the second voice. The original voice was Michael Ironsides.
Yeah. Then besides Kiefer Sutherland,
when they quote unquote rebooted it.
Yeah.
Well,
Kiefer Sutherland did the.
Did he do the Ghost Recon one?
I can't remember which one he
Because
did.
the reboot one was somebody different. I don't think it was Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland took over for
I thought it was.
No, Kiefer Sutherland took over for. Oh my god, I know it's Metal Gear Solid, but
Snake.
Snake. There we go.
Yeah, wasn't it? Was I'm thinking Clancy Brown was Sam Fisher, right? Am I wrong?
It might have been when they kind of soft rebooted the series with whatever one of the last games of Conviction was it? I think it was Conviction. They did change actors.
Yeah, I thought it was him.
Because originally it was Michael Ironsides.
I could be wrong. I'm trying to find it real quickly, but I don't see it. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. So Clancy Brown is also one of my favorite roles he was ever in. Well, he was in Carnival. He was really good in that. But he was the drill sergeant in Starship Troopers. Do you remember him in Starship Troopers? There was Michael Ironside was in it as well. Michael Ironside was the one with the metal arm. Clancy Brown was the dude at the boot camp.
Okay.
Anyways. So Clancy Brown, he's been in a lot of different things. But he has been cast as Salvatore Maroni.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he will be obviously the counterpart. Like, we know about... Because he was... excuse me. He was mentioned in the movie. Because he was who was taken down by Falcone with the police. And obviously at the end... Again, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the Batman yet. It's found out that Falcone was the one that ratted him out in league with the police to get a lighter sentence. And so now we get to see him on screen, I guess, and Clancy Brown will play him.
Cool.
So pretty rad. But as of right now, this is more of a cops and robbers story from what Matt Reeves had said previously. But he's skirting around the fact that... But the thing is, with this, obviously, it's a mini-series, I believe is what they stated as. I could see a Battinson appearance at the end as hey, he's finally come to power and he's going to be in the sights of, I guess you could say, of the Batman. Because the Batman obviously knows who he is because he interacted with him. And he's not going to be... Batman's not exactly one to, not pay attention to that. But clearly he has more things going on with, the Riddler and potentially the Joker going forward. So crime bosses are a little less on his side plate of things, especially because, there's going to be a lot happening in this power vacuum between these three characters trying to take over the drug business and things like that during that time frame. So I could see him coming at the end, but I don't think he's going to be a focal point of the show. I think it's going to be more of a nitty gritty down to the crime bosses and things like that. If I had to guess myself, especially going by that description,
I would definitely with that set up the GCPD more as well.
Yeah.
So that's what I would like to see, because that also makes me think more of Gotham PD.
Yeah.
The show that never got released,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That just kind of floated off into the ether and everybody forgot about. I was looking forward to a show like that, more of a procedural crime drama set within Gotham would be awesome. Obviously, that's not more what this is, but it could introduce some of those elements into it, but we still focus on the actual crime side of things, more like a Breaking Bad type thing, where you're kind of, just watching the bad guy the whole entire time. and maybe even rooting for him, even though you're like, this dude's a bad guy. So after looking up Clancy Brown, yes, I actually do know who he is. I've seen him in plenty of things.
Yeah. Ton of things.
He did not play Sam Fisher.
Yeah, I just saw that when I was looking at it.
Yeah, Sam Fisher's voice actors, obviously, like we said, was Michael Ironsides was the original one. And then, let's see, what does it say? Ironsides later returned in 2018 for the crossover downloadable content for Ghost. Oh, he did the.
Yeah, he did Ghost Recon.
Okay, it was. Let's see. So in Rainbow Six Siege, Jeff Teravainen did the voice. Where is? I know I just saw it. Originally voiced. Oh, Eric Johnson assumed the role and voiced the and physical role. Assumed the voice and physical role in Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist.
Blacklist was I was trying to remember the name of that game.
It was the last one. Yeah. That was all the way back in 2013. We are overdue for a Splinter Cell game.
Yeah, we are. And I don't think it's coming anytime soon.
Nope.
Because in a weird way, single-player games are not dead per se, but definitely not that realm of video game anymore. They're more of like a side-scrolling hack-and-slash Castlevania-style game. And like the single-player slow burn type game has not really garnered any relevance lately.
Yeah. I'm looking at the games that appearances section of Wikipedia, and Blacklist was obviously the last actual playable game, but it says he appears in Recon Wildland, which we know was the DLC.
Yep.
Far Cry New Dawn as an Easter egg, apparently.
Yeah, because you could get his goggles, I believe.
Oh, it was one of those things.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to include that, I don't see the Division on here either.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't get his goggles, but, like, you could see him on the desk of what's her name.
Yeah.
Breakpoint, apparently, he's listed as an appearance.
Actually, later on, I thought you were able to get tri-goggles in Division.
I want to say you were, but was that the second one, the sequel?
I think it was the second one, yeah.
But that's not even listed here. It's also listed Rainbow Six Siege and Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, which was 2020, and I don't actually even know what that was.
Sounds like a mobile game, if you ask me.
Tom Clancy's... Oh, that's just the branding. What the fuck? No, you literally click on Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, the link, and it takes you to Tom Clancy. And it just talks about the branding. So I don't think that was released.
It's probably one of the many things Ubisoft canceled.
Probably. Yeah, whatever.
I don't know how to spell Clancy, apparently.
Clancy.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, it was a mobile game. Tom Clancy's Elite Squad is a military role-playing game where players will assemble and upgrade their most iconic heroes and villains from Tom Clancy's video games franchise and lead them in stunning real-time 5 versus 5 shooting battles. Apparently it was shut down, though. I do remember this key art, though, and he is featured in it, or on it. In it? On it? I don't know what the fuck that even word means.
It's just funny that the link is right there, but it links you to just a generic article about his stuff, about Tom Clancy's name, brand stuff.
Yeah.
He got his name just thrown on pretty much everything.
Yeah, it was. There was a time where Tom Clancy was basically like just a brand versus an actual like property. I mean, The Division, most people don't even call it Tom Clancy's The Division anymore. They just call it The Division or Division 2, even though it's called Tom Clancy's The Division.
Yeah, I don't think we ever referred to it as Tom Clancy's The Division.
Nah, we always called it The Division.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I want to get on Division. I got distracted by that talk. I did find more about the other shows, apparently, that are still in the works.
Okay.
So in March 2022, Reeves revealed initial work on the GCPD series had led to work on a new idea based on the Arkham State Hospital. He said the series would build upon Arkham's introduction in the film and explore the origins of different characters related to it. He envisions a horror tone with Arkham being depicted as a haunted house. In October, Antonio Campos was hired to write and direct the series in addition to serving as showrunner and an executive producer. And then it says, and this one doesn't have an update. Well, not it does have an update, just not a more current one that I can really see. Because there's a statement, but it's not really. I'll get to more about it in a second when I get there. It says Untitled Gotham City Police Department series. In July 2020, HBO Max gave a series commitment to a police procedural television series centered on the Gotham City Police Department, or GCPD, with Terrence Winter set to write and serve as showrunner. Reeves, Winter, Clark, Daniel Pipsky, and Adam Kazan were executive producers of the series. In August, Reeves said that the series would be a prequel to the Batman, taking place during the first year of Batman's career and focusing on the corruption in Gotham and the GCPD. He said the series would be told from the perspective of one particular crooked cop, with the story being a battle for his soul, taking inspiration from the Prince of Crime, or Prince of the City, which is a book from 1981. In November 2020, Winter left the project due to creative differences, and Joe Barton was hired to replace him in January 2021. HBO still had creative issues with the project, especially with its protagonist being a corrupt cop, and they encouraged Reeves to focus on existing comic book characters instead. In March 2022, Reeves said the series was on indefinite hold, though he hoped to revisit the premise in the future. Wright revealed that there has been discussions about him appearing in the series. Jeffrey Wright of Gordon, Jim Gordon from the movie. And then October, the GCP series was revealed to still be in development and would be separate from the Arkham series. And that's the last update they have for it. Was in October of last year. They say that it's still in development and it's separate from the Arkham.
Why would you have a problem with your main character being a corrupt cop?
Because they're trying to be politically correct because of, like, you know, the bad light that cops are getting. But you got to realize this is a comic book property in a fake world.
Right, and there's been so many shows, though, where you have the main character is actually a villain, and it's been done very well. And even in that premise alone, it doesn't necessarily even say that he's completely corrupt. It states that it's a battle for his soul.
Yeah, it's dumb that they I hate when they dip their hands in it. It's like, bro, how about you let them do this shit?
My only problem with that is if it takes place 1 year before basically the events of the Batman, you very much limit yourself. And I guess it could continue on after the events of the Batman, but you have then a deadline. You can't make, like, you can't be The Simpsons where you have, like, 3 million episodes, but it seems like the kids are always in the same grade every episode, you know? So you can't say, well, this takes place the 1 year before the events of the Batman, but then make like if it ends up being popular, make like a 300 episode show, and it still takes place 1 year before the events of the Batman.
Yeah.
So you have like a time limit that you're working on right there. So you either end it, or which would be fine as long as you do it well, or you continue it afterwards.
Well, you could do it where the first season is the first year of Batman's, like, being Batman, you know, like
right.
Cause,
and that's what I mean. Like, you have to plan that into it. And
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And then hopefully
they would plan that into it.
Yeah, future seasons could be progressing after the fact. You know what I mean? Because
exactly.
Obviously there's going to be a big shake up in the GCPD after the events of the Batman because of all the corruption and the cops.
Exactly.
So you could have that be the focus of season 1, and then season 2 could be focused on a different aspect of like Gordon rebuilding the GCPD as commissioner or whatever it happens to be,
Yes.
because of the fallout and corruption, blah blah blah. It also says here, and this was obviously predated James Gunn's announcements, but again, he didn't announce anything outside of the DC U stuff. But this says in October of 2022, Reeves was meeting with directors and writers for several films and series that were early development and centered around members of Batman's rogue gallery, such as Scarecrow, Clayface, and Professor Pig.
I definitely want to see Clayface.
Right? That shit's gonna be fucked up.
Especially in Reeves' universe, it's that a little bit darker and grittier.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's interesting.
I'm down for it all. Not guaranteed that I'm going to watch it all, just because that's the nature of me, but I'm down for it all.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that's cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, me too. Assuming any of it gets made. I mean, obviously we're getting the Penguin. Hopefully they don't just suddenly kibosh that in the middle of things. Oh, we have it done, but we changed leadership again, so nah.
Someone else is
Just nah.
killing shit. Well, it's
Yeah.
weird, too, because, like, a lot of... There's such a... excuse me. There's such this weird, like, stuff that was happening in the transition, right? Like, there was the cancellation of Batgirl, obviously, that happened before James Gunn and Peter Safran were like officially announced. Obviously, they were in the mix. They didn't just make that decision overnight. But they, like, excuse me, like, it wasn't even like everyone blamed them, but they weren't even in charge yet, so it wasn't even their call. That was like literally officially announced by like the CEO dude or whatever. And then there's like all these other projects that like seem to be like, you hear about all these things, right? Like, obviously, Matt Reeves has this big fucking plan set for his Batman universe, which hopefully they just let fucking run. Just like, hey, here you go. It can't be that expensive for the most part because you're not filming on real sets for the most part. You're using volume sets.
Volumetric,
Yeah.
I can't remember the last term.
Yeah, I just call them volume sets. So, like, you're using a lot of the digital. Obviously, like, that's just kind of set up. It's just the hardware. You already have it, so, like, boom. The most expensive thing is going to be costuming stuff because, like, Penguin obviously is prosthetics. Batman has to have a suit and his gadgets. But, like, for the most part, like, you're not doing a crazy amount of CG until you start doing, if you do a Clayface that's, like, an actual fucking monster versus some guy who just fucking manipulates his face and things like that. But whatever, you know. But it's very more of a more realistic type world like we had with, you know, the Christopher Nolan movies. This one's a little more theatrical, I would say. Like, not like, oh, this one's better for film. I meant like more theatrical is like the characters are more dynamic in their way. They're not so much just like the Heath Ledger's crazy haired Joker, which, don't get me wrong, is fantastic, but like he didn't seem like a real person. You know, and I don't know what Barry Kogan, whatever his last name, what his Joker is going to look like, but he looks super disfigured, which is more of just cosmetics more than anything else, so that's kind of cool. Obviously, the Riddler is just a lunatic in a fucking raincoat. Penguin is just a scarred dude that has a terrible looking nose, who walks funny because he's, you know, fat and has a limp. So, like, you know, it would be interesting to see what they do with that, but like, Professor Pig, just a dude wears a pig mask and murders people, things like that. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. Scarecrow, same thing. It could be like Christopher Nolan's, where it's just a dude in a mask that uses gas to fucks with people. But it couldn't be that expensive to do that stuff, and other than casting and time. But clearly, Matt Reeves has good enough ideas to tie Colin Farrell, of all people, up for not only a movie, maybe multiple movie appearances, but a mini series where he has to wear prosthetics. That's pretty bold. You know what I mean? Like, it's a hell of a commitment for something like that. But, you know, who knows? I digress. But that's I thought that was a cool little a story about the Batman appearing or not appearing in the Penguin miniseries.
and I actually hope he doesn't. Like I said.
Yep. I hope it doesn't. I hope he like obviously they're gonna talk about him because like it.
Yeah, I hope it's more of a
Can't.
talk about thing. Definitely, you can't just ignore it, but definitely, if you just keep him more in the shadows, it's kind of cool that you turn him in more to a boogeyman than anything.
Yeah. Because obviously he was exposed as being a real thing at the end of the movie. But again, nobody knows how he works or where he shows up or when he's going to show up. So it's more like that, like you said, boogeyman type thing. Like, oh, is he or isn't he going to show up when we're doing naughty stuff?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You kind of have that twinge. Like, that's how that movie began, too. You know, you had the explanation of, like, from the criminal's point of view of, like, is that thing that you hear, is that the Batman, or is that the fabled Batman that could be sitting in the darkness waiting to pounce, or is that just something my imagination is playing on me? It is very much so like a scary ghost type thing happening, and that's what I kind of want to see. I just want to see it played up more as a boogeyman type thing
Than him out in the daylight just running around.
Yeah, right. Got anything else?
Not particularly.
I have a couple things.
All right, let's go.
Really quick things, actually, not a whole lot to talk about. But did you ever watch The Willow Show on Disney Plus?
No, not yet, because a certain somebody in my life has never seen the movie.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't yet either. I was actually really pumped to go and watch it. Apparently, rumor has it it's being canceled.
Yeah, I saw
after
it.
season 1.
Saw an article this morning about not getting a season 2.
Yeah. Apparently, all the actors were totally ready to go and wanting to do a second season, but as it stands right now, it sounds like it is canceled and not getting a second season, even though the first season apparently had ended with a few cliffhangers ready for that next season to go. So I'm a little disappointed. Like I said, I haven't watched it. I realize I'm saying I'm disappointed for something I haven't watched, but I do fondly remember the original movie in many aspects of it. Not all aspects of it. I couldn't really tell you what the whole story was, but I really did enjoy that movie. So when they announced that they were doing a Willow TV show, I was down for it. Of course, like I said, I haven't watched it, but now I probably won't watch it at all. But oddly enough, but that's sad to hear that they've canceled it.
Yeah.
I can definitely see him canceling it, though. That was one of those shows when they announced it. It was like, oh, that's cool. That's really cool. But you're making a show from what I would call a niche movie.
Yeah, it's very
like it
very
wasn't.
genre
If I
based.
recall right, it wasn't even that popular of a movie when it came out. You know, it might have been a well-reviewed movie, but it's not. It's not that type of movie that persists in people's zeitgeist as like, you know, Terminator or any other movie that people really enjoyed and would watch over and over again. You know, it's that type of movie that you were like, oh yeah, Willow, I remember that with Val Kilmer and Warwick Davis, you know, and that's pretty much it of it. So when they announced that they were doing a TV show, it was like, yeah, that's really cool, but I don't think it's going to last that long. I just don't think it exists in people's world enough to be able to hold on, or at least to spark them to want to watch it because of the movie.
Yeah, and also the property's fucking like 30 something years old at this point. So like,
Yeah.
it's weird. It's cool that they brought it back, and obviously, but I think they should have planned it more as a one and done. Like they shouldn't have tried to do like hey, let's continue this going on. It's like, bro, like this is a fantasy show or a fantasy movie that fantasy people love. And the casual fan, Joseph being one of them for sure, is like, yeah, I remember it awesomely, and like, but you couldn't tell me like the premise of the movie.
No, because I can't remember the last time I watched it.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Like it's definitely one of those shows that I remember. One of those movies I remember watching. I didn't see it in theaters. I remember renting it, and I remember, wow, that was really good. But it's not any movie where I'm like, I need to rewatch that, you know, type of movie.
So yeah, I mean, I understand.
So if they would have done it, like you said, as a one-off type thing, where like we're going to bring it back, we're going to do it for one season. We understand this is not really a property that is hugely loved by tons of millions of people. That we can try to milk it for multiple seasons. Let's just do one season, wrap it up. Kind of, if you want to gauge what people's responses are to it, maybe you do a follow-up season or something like that if it becomes really popular. But your aim would be to make one season, wrap up all of your stories and whatnot, and then kind of gauge things from there. That's what I would say, instead of making a season with the hopes of making multiple seasons after that.
Yeah, because that's a hard one to swallow for the most part.
Mm-hmm. But speaking of seasons 2, Sweet Tooth, April 2nd.
Yeah.
Or season 2, sorry.
Season 2,
in April.
Yep.
27th, April 27th.
Hell yeah, brother.
That's it for that. I loved that show. That show was really good. Never read the comic, but I really dig the show, and I can't wait for season 2. It is something that I actually was watching like week to week, just like, good Lord, this is so good.
Yep. Speaking of Jeff Lemire, he has another show that we can't watch because we don't live in Canada.
Wait, what?
Jeff Lemire, however you want to say his name.
Right.
He has another show.
Sweet Tooth.
That's coming out. It's called Essex County. More of
another one of his properties, yeah.
Yeah, it's been made into a television program, but it's available only in Canada. So get your VPNs ready, everybody.
Was it a Canadian?
I was based in Canada.
It's based off of one of his comics. So
yeah.
Did that just take place in Canada?
Yeah, Essex County is in Canada, where he's from.
Oh.
One of your native folks.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it takes place in there. It was made by a Canadian company, which the name escapes me. I'm not gonna look it up right now. But it is coming out, and it has a trailer. You can watch it, but you can't watch the show unless you live in Canada or have a VPN where you can get wherever it's playing at on there.
Or just pirate that shit, because there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to release stuff internationally. I get the whole licensing and distribution and blah blah blah. Like it's only licensed and licensed for distribution in Canada with whatever company it is that they've gone through. But it's one of those things where it's like you should just be aiming for most profit and locking yourself down to only Canada. I could see it then hitting Netflix though, maybe after they're done with it.
Yeah, he said there is a future for it to come to the States. He just doesn't have a time or where or when.
Yeah. Okay.
Just as of yet. I did remember one thing though that I saw this morning that I forgot that I had before you. If you have anything else to continue talking about.
I was only going to mention that you still watch The Simpsons? Probably not.
You talking about Weird Al Yankovic?
No.
Oh, so go ahead. I don't really watch The Simpsons ever. No.
Yeah, I haven't watched The Simpsons in a while. Not to say that it's not good or anything. I don't want to be one of those people that's like, The Simpsons were only good from seasons 5 through 6.5 or whatever. I will pop in every once in a while when I remember that there's a new season of The Simpsons, even though I don't have Hulu anymore, so I can't really watch them. Apparently, they've been trying new things for the past year or so, and they're bringing back characters from season 1, is what they said. Specifically, according to the article from Comic Book, is what's his name? Jacques, who was Marge's bowling instructor, I think it was.
Oh.
Thought that was weird.
Huh.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're just trying new things and bringing back old characters. That was really it. Yeah, I don't know, not much of a story. Just an interesting thought of like you don't really think about The Simpsons anymore, but they're still going.
Yeah. Apparently they did an intro with Weird Al Yankovic.
I don't doubt that. Like that's something that you would tell me, and I'd be like, yeah, didn't that happen like 30 years ago.
Yeah, and I could be wrong. I don't know. Weird Al posted about it. He said, "Yeah, like I've been a big fan of The Simpsons for many years. I never thought this would happen. So I'm guessing it's new. But it's like him playing the accordion in the couch open of the show. That's pretty rad.
I'd have to find out what episode that is and try and watch it.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's more involved in it or he's just literally in the intro.
The
I'm not too
gag.
sure. Yeah. But the story that I brought up, because the trailer was released this morning or late last night, I'm actually not too sure. This is the description of it.
Okay.
The true story, air quotes around true story, of the meteoric rise and catastrophic demise of the world's first smartphone, BlackBerry, is a whirlwind ride through a ruthless, competitive Silicon Valley at breakneck speeds.
Okay.
So the true story, air quotes, means probably some artistic liberties taken here, which makes some sense given the comedic nature. Apparently, the trailer has comedic nature, because Glenn Howerton of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia appears in the movie. So I haven't watched the trailer yet, because literally I saw it right before we started doing our thing, and I didn't pull it up, but I just thought I saw things saying Glenn Howerton, and I was like, wait, what? He's in a movie about BlackBerry? But
That's very interesting.
It also has Michael Ironside in it.
That's scary.
Yeah.
It's a really weird juxtaposition of characters because you put Dennis up against fucking Sam Fisher.
Yeah, and it's what's even crazier about this is this is an IFC film, right? So,
Independent Film Channel.
Yeah.
So is it only going to be on IFC?
Well, this is their films division, so these ones do hit theaters.
Okay.
Because I believe like The Lighthouse, was it Lighthouse? I think
was
Lighthouse
The Lighthouse an IFC film?
I think so. No, not Lighthouse. Was it Lighthouse?
The one with Willem Dafoe and
Battinson.
I
can't remember. Hold on, I'll pull it up right now. They've had bigger films.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. That was a very indie type film.
Let's see, film library. That's a weird way to put it, right?
Nah, it's fine.
The 2020s. I could be wrong about the Lighthouse being an IFC film, but I know there's other ones. They release so many movies.
The Lighthouse was was in the 2010s.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was.
I'm pretty sure you might be right.
I'm pretty sure I am right because I remember.
Oh, is it 20? It could fall in the 1920 in the
late
2019 or 2018. Whatever the fuck
yeah,
that was.
2019. Yeah, 2019.
Good job, buddy.
Lighthouse, 2019.
Who made it?
Robert Pattinson fucks a mermaid. Who made it? That's a very good question. Who came up with this?
I'm more talking about producers than who wrote it, because that movie's fucked up.
Yeah, but I'm on IMDb right now. It doesn't show me the producers.
Well, IFC Films apparently releases a lot of fucking movies. So, like, so many movies.
Nope, that's not what I want. I clicked on the wrong thing. I made a mistake.
I made a mistake.
This writing credits, producers. What were we looking for again? I forgot already.
What the production company was?
Production company. Production management. Second unit. Art director.
I don't think it was IFC Films.
I don't think I'm actually going to find it in IMDb.
Let's look up The Lighthouse.
Let's look up Wikipedia, because that's probably got more information. Wikipedia. There you are. Go away. A24.
Oh, was A24?
And Regency Enterprises and RT Features.
Yeah, it was A24 I was thinking of them that did that one. IFC Films has done so many fucking movies, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but have they done any movies that I know?
Let's find out. Let's go newer ones and see if they can land in Joe's brain box. Well, that one's you probably never gonna see that movie anyways. So, Skinamarink is definitely not gonna be one on your radar.
No, I know it's Skinamarink. It's based off that YouTube scary movie thing.
Yeah,
It was
that's the
actually
one.
something that I did want to watch.
Yeah, it's on. I think it's on Shutter now. If you want to watch it on Shutter,
I need your login again. I
okay,
can't remember what it is.
I can give you that. I
Thank you.
mean, I don't share passwords. What's wrong with you,
I
Joseph?
mean, I need you to remind me what my login is.
Yeah, I have it written down for you, Joe. I'll send it. I
Right
keep
now,
all
I
your
don't share
passwords for
my
everybody.
logins, but Cody is my LastPass.
Yep.
LastPass, yeah.
Uh,
First pass. I don't know.
did you ever watch the trailer for Vesper? It was a post-apocalyptic sci-fi movie.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. God's Country's on here. That's let's see. I'm really striking out with the stuff that Joe may know on here. Yeah, nope. I don't think there's anything on here in the last year or so that Joe would know of.
I'm looking through the list myself, and I'm not really seeing anything.
Obviously, it's a lot of independence. Oh, well, there's one that you never watched, but you should have. Demonic. Your
I may
boy,
have actually watched that.
the Neil Blomkamp
Oh
movie.
no, wait, the Neil Blomkamp one? No, I didn't watch that.
You should watch that movie. That movie's fucked up.
Yeah, I should watch it because of Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah, dude.
Speaking of him, did you watch the Unreal Engine? I won't say game, but it was like some sort of trailer that he released.
A new one for that
Yeah,
game?
it came out a couple days ago. Like, I don't know if it was attached to a movie, but it was like he just took the Unreal Engine and just, the gaming engine and just made a scene with it.
Oh, please.
I am spacing on what it was called, though.
What's that?
I'm like 3 pages deep into this. 4 pages, sorry, deep, and I actually have no idea what any of these movies are. Okay, there's Demonic. Apparently, I don't watch enough independent films.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why, Joe. There's a ton of them, and a lot of them are real not easy to watch. So there's Off the Grid, which is the game he's working on. Is there something new I'm missing?
Yeah, it was released like a day or two ago.
Because he's doing his newest thing is Gran Turismo, the movie.
No, that's not what it was. Let me see if I can. No, I probably won't be able to pull it up in my YouTube playlist because I watch way too much YouTube.
What the fuck? Don't click on that. That's from the video game Atomic Heart? Oh, Lord. I don't know about that.
What is?
I didn't click on it because it looks like video game porn, but it's called Lewd Twins Clip. And it looks like a girl being bent over. And,
It's probably talking about the twins in Atomic Heart. They are 2 robots.
Oh, that makes more sense because she looks like a
And
robot.
they're intentionally made to look very
Sexualized?
easy on the eyes.
Yeah, because these two look like they're having sex in that thumbnail from YouTube, so.
And I'm sure that's kind of what they're, clickbait and all. I'm really trying to find this in. Was it The Invincible? No, I swear it said Neil Blomkamp something blah blah blah.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. He's down for all these things. Hey, I spelled his fucking name right this time. Look at me.
Nice.
His first name, not his last name. Last name I got down pat.
Neil. Yeah, last name. I was going to say that kudos for you for spelling his last name correctly because I know I can't do that.
I get his last name right every time. It's his first name because I can never remember if it's like 2 L's, 1 L. Is there an L?
There's an L. It's like Neil.
Neill, sir.
Excuse you.
Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. Wait, hold on, what?
Anyway, I wouldn't be able to find it in here. I watch way too much junk YouTube because I have nothing else to do.
Yep. Off the Grid trailer was 3 weeks ago. Really? 3 weeks ago? Why is that? I don't think that's one I've seen. That's got to be a new one. I haven't watched that one. It's way longer than
Off
3
the Grid. Off the Grid sounds right.
Off the Grid is the he did an Unreal Engine 5 Off the Grid short film.
Yes.
It's from 3 weeks ago. I have not watched that. I watched
Was
the.
it 3 weeks ago? I could have swore it said that it was posted only a couple of days ago, but then again,
This says 3 weeks
I may,
ago.
I may have just
On
misread
here.
it. But yeah, that popped up on my feed, and I was like, "Is this?" Because I knew he was doing the game. I just couldn't remember what the name of the game was, and I was like, "Is this part of the game? Is this just some?
Is that the
Hey,
same?
I have some time to make a thing."
Off the grid. Because I sent the that's not how you spell any of that. I sent the trailer they sent out a while back. Is this the same? Yeah, so 6 months ago, I sent one off the grid cinematic switcher part 1 trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So he did another one with Unreal Engine 5. Oh, IGN posted 1 day ago.
That's that's probably where I watched it from.
Off the grid exclusive Just Deal with Delia, episode 1. The original trailer, teaser trailer, was from 10 months ago. 6 months ago was the other trailer. That is a girl's butt cheeks.
Ooh.
I don't know what this. Oh, she lives off the grid apparently.
What you're looking at, but yeah.
I typed in "off the grid" and hit search on Google on YouTube, so that's my fault. This says "Off the Grid" official cinematic episode directed by Neil Blomkamp 3 weeks ago. IGN posted it. I'll have to watch that when we get done here.
Okay, so I watched it. I finally found it. I watched it Sunday. So yeah, Off the Grid, new trailer, 2023, Neil Blomkamp, Unreal Engine 5, Cyberpunk. The name just keeps going, but it was from 4K Trailers, or moviegasm.com.
Huh.
So I watched it last Sunday.
Oh yeah, Moviegasm right here. I see it right here.
Yeah.
It's funny. You watched it last Sunday.
IGN's, it has IGN's watermark on it when you start watching it.
I'm sure it's their trailer because they have an exclusive trailer, and these guys just steal that shit all the time. But it's from 3 weeks ago. I'll have to check it out. I didn't realize it was a thing. I must have missed that one.
Yeah, I thought it's really cool. It was really interesting looking. It's the design of one of the characters bugged me, but I get it. It was the corpo guy. Has like this visor over his eyes the whole entire time, and it's like it bugs me. I can't see his eyes, but I get that that's how it is in this world. It was just really weird, and some of the movements were a little bit awkward too. But I can understand that it's a game engine, and there are some weirdness to things, and it's probably very early.
Yeah. Yeah,
I can't wait for that game.
Last thing I have, not that it's a huge thing, because there's not much info, but Evil Dead Rise premiered at South by Southwest last night.
And how many people threw up because somebody cut their tongue in half?
Bro, so this is the part I'm going to bring up, and I have to rewatch the trailer to see if there's any indication of it, because I don't see any. But right before the day before that it premiered, I guess their official hashtag landed on Twitter, and when you do that, you have an emoji that pops up next to it, right? So if you do Creed 3, I believe, you get boxing gloves, things like that, right? Okay. A fucking cheese grater pops up. Bro, I don't know if I'm going to be okay with this. I can handle a lot of things, but kitchen instruments that aren't knives terrify me. Mandolins, cheese graters, like box cheese graters, essentially, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
You're watching somebody just haphazardly, and this is how we chop something up. And
bro,
it's just chop,
dude,
chop, and you're getting like closer to the knuckles and stuff, and you're like, ah.
All mandolins come with a fucking handguard. People use them.
Nah, man, you gotta just raw dog that shit.
No, I'm fine. I didn't throw up my mouth just now. There's no video proof of it.
Anyhow,
There's a lot of people coming out that's saying it's fucking amazing.
Oh, good.
And so I'm super excited about it.
I'm down to watch as much as the movie as I can tolerate.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those ones where
as
it's
I see
like
a mandolin come out, I'm just gonna be like, nope, and close my eyes.
Bro, I'm telling you, you wouldn't.
Cody, tell me when the mandolin goes away. No, you tell me when the mandolin goes away.
Bro, when he posted that and you see the cheese grater, I was like, brother, I have to rewatch this trailer because if there's a hint of a cheese grater in here, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Every scene, it's just gonna be like hanging out right there, and then people are like gonna reach for it, and it's just
gonna
like,
get closer and closer to the camera.
Closer and closer. Yeah.
Yeah. So if Lee Cronin, if you're listening, you're a monster. Because I really want to watch your movie, but I don't want to throw up in public again. So, yikes.
That's not how I enjoy things.
Yeah. I'm gonna go in with an empty stomach into that theater because I will vomit if I start seeing curly cues of human skin coming off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Also,
Paige, if she would go see it.
I sent it to. I was like, "Hey, I don't know what this means, but check this out." And I sent it to her on Twitter, and she was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I was like, "Did you look at it?" She's like, "Is that a cheese grater?" I was like, "It's a fucking cheese grater, sister." I don't know what it means, but clearly it has to do with something with the movie, and that don't make me feel good. It makes my belly upset right now, and I don't know what's happening with it. Two last things before we wrap up because we're getting that signal from the producer.
Yep.
IGN gave John Wick Chapter 4 a 10.
Out of 10?
Yep.
Okay.
Several places, I believe, on Rotten Tomatoes right now with 50, because it premiered at South by Southwest. On Rotten Tomatoes right now, it could be changed. With 58 reviews, it's at 91% critic score.
Even though people were slightly worried about the length of that movie, all right.
Yeah. And the last thing I have is I bought a physical book, Joe.
What? Is it signed? Oh, yeah. Owen King.
Yeah.
I heard that he released a new book.
Yeah, so I bought it. And then I forgot that I pre-ordered it on Audible, so now I have 2 copies of it.
That's fine. You have a book that you don't have to crack open, and then the one that you can listen to.
Yep. So, yeah. So, that was cool. I thought, oh, I bought a physical book. Joe, be proud of me.
I'm proud of you.
I don't know where I'm fucking going to put it.
Books a lot. I mean, we both just pre-ordered the Expanse hardcover books.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, did you see the newest update, by the way?
Well, that they put it up on backer list that if they can hit the $1,450,000 that everybody gets the signed
Christian Ward print.
Right, print. But it's only up until Monday.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And yesterday it was only at 1,410,000, I want to say.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So as I have a bad feeling that it's just not going to make it.
Don't say that, Joe.
I don't want to put it out into the world like that. I get it. Where is it? I thought I had the Kickstarter app on here.
Way to go, Joe.
No, I know I installed it on my iPad.
Because I know, I don't know if
I really want it. Like, don't get me wrong. Had I bought a lesser version, or if they would have the newer versions, or the more expensive versions available, I probably would have upgraded and tried to help the chances of getting it over the line. There's the email. But I can't, and I've already bought everything that I want. They actually have pictures of all the coins up, and so right now it's up to $1,416,687.
Yeah, I just pulled it up.
It's still quite a ways to go to get to that 450 mark. I would kind of hope that they'd be like, look, you guys tried, you got it close enough. Let's just go ahead and do it.
Hopefully. I don't know, but man, I saw that and I was like, oh, it could still happen.
It could still happen. I really do want it to happen because I really do want a signed Christian Ward. poster essentially, but it's signed by. Is it Christian Ward?
No,
Is
it's
he-
signed by 3 of the actors.
Oh, it was 3 of the actors. I knew I could remember that. I thought one of them was the writer of the book, but I knew. God damn it! I can't remember his name now. Amos it was signing it.
Yeah, so it should be Steven Strait, Dominic Tripper, and
Chantham.
what is his actual name? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. What is his
Right.
actual name? Shit. Anyways, Amos will be signing as well, I guess. Anyways, that's all I have.
That's all I have too.
All right. So that has been this episode of Comes Naturally. We have been...
Joe.
I have been Cody. And as usual, you fuckers just came naturally.
Bye.